organic chicken. We've got a lot of chicken, okay? Is that psychotic?
No, it's cute.
And I'm only in a better mood right now because I talked myself down from being frustrated at the store because I'm doing my grocery shopping, right? And I am mentally, in my mind, going through my entire day. I am going through my entire recipe. I'm going through tomorrow's schedule, thinking about each of the kids. Like, I've got things on my mind. Then I go to check out, and there's employees everywhere, and they're just kind of tinkering. Like, they're just kind of like wiping, they're just doing little things. There's 7 checkout stands, and not one of them is open. And I double checked. Every single light was off. There was not one cashier to cash out. But I'll tell you what they did have, all the lights on self-checkout. And I don't know why, and I know exactly why. It frustrated me so much. So I start going through and I'm like looking up each little thing. And no, it's not terribly difficult, but when you have this huge mental load and you're at the grocery store and you're trying to get done what you need to get done, and then just what, you're supposed to just take on someone else's entire job, it was just really frustrating to me. It took me a second to cool down from it, but I turned on some music. I'm here, I got myself checked out, and I'm in a better mood. Okay, now that that's off my chest, let's make some food for my dad and Joel's mom. I wanted to make something that had lots of veggies, a grain, and a protein, and there is fruit in the salsa as well. So you kind of get a lot of the categories. I want to do a cilantro lime rice. Chicken, I was going to do salmon, like a teriyaki salmon. That's what I would typically put with this dish. But that's a little fishy, you know what I mean? It can be tricky, and so I just went safe with chicken. So we're gonna do diced up chicken, and I'm gonna cut it really, really small because that's more palatable, with a veggie fruit, pineapple, mango, salsa to go on top. And I'm gonna do a cilantro dressing. I do want to update you on both parents. So while we make the rice, let's rinse our rice first though.
I think it's time for a haircut maybe.
Why would you ruin my day like that?
Last Saturday we did an outing. It's probably the first outing my mom's done in a long time.
Outside of doctor appointments.
Yep, outside of doctor's appointments. And me and my brothers who are in state all got together and had an outing with my mom, which was nice, but it was kind of eye-opening a little bit for mom. And so this is what we sent out to my other brothers. On Saturday when we went to the temple with mom, she was pretty incoherent. She didn't improve much over the weekend. My brother Josh and his wife Amber have been helping bathe and get mom in and out of bed frequently over the last week. And I think that goes beyond that. I think it's been a while that they've been helping quite a bit.
But in the last week, it's been almost every day.
Yeah, almost. If she's getting out of bed and in bed, she needs assistance. No need to panic, but mom is entering a new stage of care. And then today at 1:30, we're actually meeting with some, I hate saying hospice, but that's what they do, is hospice and then other kind of levels of help as well. And we're going to see what they say. My mom also is meeting with her oncologist today to see what, kind of what he thinks, because she's been not responding very well. And when she is responding, it's kind of like not what's happening. So something else is going on in her mind. Every time in the past, it meant there was an underlying issue going on. And for the first time...
Like an infection or something that causes the incoherency.
Right. And for the first time, I don't know that there's an infection. And so it's kind of just overall health is declining. Today's a big day because she has multiple appointments. With her oncologist, they're going to decide if they should continue her cancer treatments or if we should no longer do those and start kind of prepping for more hospice care. We don't know what to do. We kind of see the signs, but we also don't know if something underlying is going on. So we're going to meet with some specialists, but I think we're at a stage where those decisions have got to be made, and kind of her course of life is going to change dramatically for her and my dad, which is, it's a reality that's just starting to set in with all of us, I think.
And it feels weird to say it, almost like we're telling you something that's not true.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like, well, wait, is that actually true? Can we say that out loud? Because it's kind of really hard to imagine that that's the reality or stage that we're at.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hopeful that the doctor says there's something we're missing, but at the same time, I don't want my mom to have to keep doing treatments that are exhausting, painful, and taking whatever energy she does have, and that's where it's being spent. So they're at their appointment right now. I'll go meet them in an hour, and then
Meet with the hospice
mm-hmm.
nurse and
Yeah.
talk with her.
Hospice is such a broad term, but yes, an at-home nurse that can come in and help.
Is it a broad term, or
It
is
is,
it just
because it's a level of like care. There's like palliative care, or there's all these different care levels, but hospice is like kind of the level of care we need.
And
but
she might be at the bottom of the hospice level.
the problem is if you go to hospice care, you have to be done with your cancer treatments. And that's
Because
the way
insurance works
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah.
But you can graduate from hospice
Yeah.
and go back on your cancer treatment. So that's kind of what the appointment will be about today, is really talking with her cancer doctor and saying, okay, what should we do here? And what's going to be the most comfortable?
That's my biggest thing, is I want my mom to be the most comfortable. I don't want her to be miserable.
Yeah. Do you know who taught me how to cut green onions like this? Joel's mom did. I remember the first time I watched her do this, I thought, oh my gosh, that's how you cut a regular onion. Why didn't I think of cutting these small green onions that way? So I always think of her when I cut these onions. My parents live a mile away from Joel's parents, and what I think is so sweet is that anytime I talk with Stan, he wants an update on my dad. And anytime I talk to my parents, they want an update on Kay. And they have been just a nice in the background support for each other. And I just love that. I truly love that they love each other. And yeah, my dad had a particular bad night, and so I didn't really want to tell my mom about Kay because I knew she was worrying about my dad, and I just couldn't not call her, you know. And so I called my mom and updated her, and she said, well, you know what? I made cinnamon rolls the other day, and I have a couple left. I'm just gonna hang up right now, and I'm gonna run down. She ran down last night and I can't even see my onions. She ran down, and Stan said she spent about an hour visiting, and he was grateful for the cinnamon rolls. And I told her, I said, well, Kay isn't going to be able to eat them probably, but maybe. And I know as I make these meals that I'm not really making them for her because there's just not a whole lot she can eat, and so I'll let Stan worry about that, but he needs to eat and he needs some good nutrition, and so I know that not having to worry about what he's gonna eat for dinner and only finding something for Kate to eat helps. I want to hear your thoughts on this, Joel. Mm-hmm. At first, when my dad was diagnosed, I didn't want to tell your parents because I didn't want them to feel like the attention wouldn't be on your mom. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want, whenever I would talk to my parents and I'm wanting to hear about my dad, they would always ask about your mom. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want the attention, I didn't want my parents to feel like the attention wasn't on them when I was with them. And that was an immature thought process that I had, because as they have been concerned about each other, it's made me realize that there's no spotlight that needs to be on anybody. There's enough love and concern and thought for both of them.
Well, there's enough cancer to go around, so.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I don't think it was necessarily an immature thought, but I think it just shows you want to show compassion to everybody in their time of need. And I think that's okay. And I think it's been...
I think it's a beautiful lesson to learn that there is enough love to go around, you know?
Would you say that there's room for everyone in this world?
You know I can't resist singing that song. There's room for everyone in this world if you just make some room.
Everyone just gets the cancer.
Da 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 da
Is that the right
da.
words?
What else? How's it go? That's all I know.
I
That's all I
actually wanted to
got.
watch that the other day when we were watching our early...
Pete's Dragon? Come
Yeah,
on.
That's a good one. Tell me you've never wanted an apple more than when the dragon cooks the apple and he's like, "You're a good cook, Elliot." I'm like, "I want a cooked apple. How's that taste?"
That was one of the movies when I was young that just stuck with me. And I remember as when I got older and I remember that movie, I remember thinking, I'll never see that again. What movie was that? I'll never see it again. And so when I got to watch it with my kids, it was magical.
Oh, that's a good one. And the kids still like it. Hey, Bon,
Yeah.
I'll be your candle on the water.
You know I can't resist. I'll be your candle on the water. Okay, we're not gonna use that in.
So good.
Dee, dee, dee.